What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Avenger comic book review, the series where I like to talk about all the books I read in the previous week. However, the reviews are running a little bit behind, as you all know. The books in this review were released on September 20th, 2023. We have already passed September 27th books. So once again in this review, I'm going to be running through the books a bit quicker. Also, there aren't going to be any graphics. I'm going to try to we're recording now, edit and upload this video all in the same day to get this out so I can get into this week's book so we can get the review back on track. I had a lot of books this week, and being sick and getting the review up late and then getting into all of these books late, we fell behind. We're going to catch up. I just have to catch a light week, which I'm hoping this week is. I don't even know what books I'm reading yet because we didn't even do Dark Avenger Live because Monday was a holiday. Took the Monday off to get to reading all the books, to getting this out. Here we are, episode 521, September 20th books. The first book, I do have a few physical ones, but the first book I'm going to be talking about, however, was not released on September 20th, 2023. This book came out a couple of weeks earlier. I did miss it, and that is Black Demon Tales, issue number 3. I have the computer in front of me this time. So I didn't really like the second issue. You all know the artwork kind of took me out of the book. However, I will say that the artwork in this book brought me back into, and this was a great conclusion to Black Demon Tales. I enjoyed it. If you watch the movie, if you're interested in having extra story background behind the movie, or if you like shark books, this is a book I would highly recommend. Issue 2 kind of threw me off, but issue 3 definitely brought me back in. Issue number 1 I enjoyed a lot too. So 2 out of the 3, definitely worth a read. I loved it. Check it out for sure. Scout Comics. We're going to be seeing more Scout Comics very soon on the reviews. I actually got interested in a couple of books from Scout. So you'll be seeing Scout showing up in the independents a bit more often. Scout Comics, the Dark Avenger comic reviews are reaching out to you. We are interested. Definitely, if you if you would like, reach back because we are definitely interested in working with you. From Image, Antarctica, issue number 3. I enjoyed this third issue. I like how there was a bit of an explanation about Antarctica in this issue. We get to see the team that got sent into the alternate world trying to invade, like sneak into the facility and try to figure out what's going on and get back to their world. Things go horribly wrong, and the issue ends with a bang. I'm very interested in seeing what happens in issue number 4, but I have my suspicions. Okay, so the very end of the issue, somebody gets shot. I have my suspicions of who it is. It alludes that it's one person, but I think it's another. So I'm really interested in seeing if I'm correct. So next month I'll find out. But Antarctica, really good. I believe it's a 5-issue mini. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but definitely something to check out. Next book is no physical copy of it, but Sherlock Holmes one-shot from Zenescope. Oh my God, I cannot preach how much I enjoyed this book. It's Sherlock Holmes's daughter, I believe, and something happens in the beginning of the book. She loses her parents. It's all surrounding this pendant it's like a family heirloom, and the brother actually, you could, in the beginning of the book and in the middle, he looks like he's a great guy. You know that feeling you get in the back of your mind that there's something more here. By the end of the book, we find out that he's a jealous brother, and he wanted the heirloom and the powers for himself because she has powers, of course, it's Zenescope. And I just love the way the book went from point A to point B. She gets the pendant back. She's able to access a lot more. And the big twist with the brother in the end, what happens to him, I liked it a lot. And we kind of end with a new mystery starting, and it says the end, ? Excellent book. A lot of reading, a lot of pages, and I love that when a story gives you a lot. This is a great one-shot. Definitely recommend checking this book out, and I hope to see more of Sherlock Holmes in the future. This I'm just throwing out there. TMNT Stranger Things issue number 3. if you like Stranger Things and Turtles and both of them together, this book is for you. Me personally, every time I read this, the first thing that pops into my head is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the Fortnite of IDW Publishing right now. And one of their big sellers next to Star Trek. So, of course, they're going to want to do as many crossovers as they can. They've already lost G.I. Joe and Transformers, which actually Transformers issue 1 comes out. So I might be checking that out for the next review, for the next episode. So let's see if Image does better with Transformers. We'll find out. Hopefully we'll see G.I. Joe at some point soon. I'm not sure where they went. Next up, we got the main Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, issue number 143. The Turtles team up with the, oh God, her name, Venus. Team up with Venus to find the lost child. I love how Raphael stays behind with Aliplex to take care of her, and he apologizes for teaming up with Shredder. I love how they're trying to fix that relationship. I like it a lot. Aliplex and Raph belong together, and thanks to Mikey's intel, they find out where alligator, like mutant alligator sightings are. They find Leatherhead. They fight him. They fight the Doctor, but it turns out the Doctor also has one of his patches, and he has abilities, and it kind of ends with him powering up, so to speak. And we're going to see now Venus versus the Doctor in the next issue. Definitely am very happy with where TMNT is going compared to where they've been the last 40-ish issues. Now, again, would I have liked TMNT with the Armageddon games? Probably. I wasn't a fan of 101 to wherever I left off because it just felt like the series went into I don't want to say it went stale, but it feels like it just plateaued and then it just stayed there instead of continuing up like issues 1 to 100 just kept building up to something. It just felt like we got to 100 and it just stayed. And it just stayed, and there was really nothing building towards something in the future. Now I feel like, and probably in Armageddon game too, we're building towards something because Donatello has a secret as well. Because we see all the turtles kind of go into a nightmare state because of the Doctor, and Donatello keeps alluding to what he's been hiding. And I have a feeling it has to do with time travel. Maybe they're going to try to save Splinter, which will, of course, change everything. And it might actually fix a couple of things in the TMNT universe. However, again, I feel like at least we're working towards something now, and it's starting to go up again. Very happy with TMNT. Going into Marvel, Amazing Spider-Man 34. We got the explanation of why Pete's acting the way he is. I didn't know. I didn't read previous issues. It involves the Goblin Serum. We see Pete fighting Norman. We see Kraven's son trying to dig himself out of his grave. And we see now that Norman's being, a good guy and trying to save people. Pete is now like Norman, acting like a goblin. And you see the Goblin Queen and Kraven saying they're both on the wrong sides, and it needs to be fixed. So obviously, Norman is going to have to go back to being the Goblin, and Pete's going to have to go back to being Spider-Man. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. However, now that I've got the explanation behind this, I don't know if I'll be sticking with Amazing Spider-Man or not. I'm kind of iffy on it. It might not be exactly something I'm interested in because I'm not liking where Marvel's been bringing Spider-Man. So this might be the last time we talk about Amazing for a while. We'll see. Back in physical form. Finally, I'm able to get a jump on point for Wolverine. Issue number 37. Wolverine is chasing after all of his clones from previous issues. Unfortunately, haven't been reading Wolverine. I got the synopsis about the clones. So he's chasing after the clones. One clone turns into a Wendigo because it goes to the Howlett Mansion and he gets cursed. And thus enters the Hulk, who saves Wolverine. And Wolverine uses Banner. We get to see him in Manipur. because Wolverine becomes Patch because they're tracking down the other clones. Two of the clones are there. I believe it was Manticore, at least. I want to be sure now. And again, there's a lot of allusion to what's going on in the X books right now. Of course, we still got the charts. Because, I mean, even when it doesn't involve what's his name anymore, for some reason, Marvel thinks it's a great idea to still have charts for the X books. I don't. There's also a part with the cult. I forgot about the part with the cult, and Wolverine uses Banner once again. It is Manticore to his advantage by using the Hulk. Manticore, same thing happens. Wolverine uses Banner to Hulk out and fight and kill, stop his clones. And this time Hulk kind of got aware and says, "You're no better than the people we're fighting against," because they're fighting against Orchid or whatever that organization is. Again, if you're reading all the X books and you're following the Fall of X, because that's literally on every single X book right now is the Fall of X, then you know the organization, and this is who the Avengers, Tony Stark, and X-Men are all fighting against, because this is how they're destroying the X-Men. They frame the X-Men, and it's mentioned in every X book about what Orchid is doing. So in Wolverine's book, he's chasing after the clones. In Uncanny Avengers, by the way, love it. Can't wait for the next issue. Next issue, I believe Captain America guest stars. In Uncanny Avengers, issue number 2, we get to see Rogue wants to kind of kick Captain America out from leading the team, and she wants to take control of it because the fight between them and Captain Krakoa doesn't go well. He leaves with whatever he was trying to steal, and she feels that it would be best not to be involved with the Avengers, and that it's best that the team is led by X-Men and mutants. We get to see more fraternizing between Captain Krakoa and somebody else on his team. And it turns out Captain Krakoa is somebody, we don't know who. The mask comes off and he reveals himself to one person, and we don't see it yet. I'm wondering if it's a clone of somebody that isn't Scott Summers. But the issue ends with what they stole and what they're going to be doing with it and who's involved a bit. So I'm looking forward to issue number 2. I love how Cap goes to what's his name? I keep forgetting. Oh my god. Shoot, why do I keep the he's the one that owns the Daily Bugle now. But he's going to be doing he did an expose on Daredevil. Now Cap is looking for him to do research on Orchid and see if he could find out the truth about them and stop them. This is all going to play into the Fall of X. But again, if you're not reading all the X books, it's going to be a bit hard. But I mean, it's hard to avoid it because every single X book is connected to it. This is a mini-series. Wolverine's ongoing. Uncanny Spider-Man. Nightcrawler hiding in plain sight, but as Spider-Man. Again, I don't know what happened to Nightcrawler. They allude to him being possessed at some point. I want to make sure I did the right. Yes, okay, I'm in the right. I have to make sure I'm in the right order. I love this issue, however. I love how there's talk between Spider-Man and Nightcrawler and how Nightcrawler kind of wants to escape being Nightcrawler for a bit. And something shields him from being detected from the Sentinel in this issue. We don't know what yet. But we do find out, spoiler alert, Mystique is alive. And Nightcrawler saves him at the end of this issue. Very interested to see where this miniseries goes. Absolutely loving this book. Making sure on the list. Yeah. Captain America, issue number 1. I really liked this issue. Sue Storm guest stars in it. There's a lot of flashbacks to when Cap was younger. It just seems like he's trying to get back to basics a bit. he gets pulled into a, what do you call it, an issue. That's where Sue came in. He gets pulled into another thing. He gets home and he's like, everything's great. And then we find, there's a what do you call it? There's a robbery going on, so he involves himself again. I read this book first, so I'm forgetting a lot of what happened here, so apologies. But I like how they're going back and forth between the past and the present. And then we find out that the next issue, Spider-Man, is going to be guesting. This is definitely something I'm going to be keeping up with. Whether physical or digital, still debatable, but I did enjoy Captain America issue number 1, and I will be continuing it. And now the miniseries I was very excited for, and this is the last Marvel book and the last physical book I have. Wolverine, Predator versus Wolverine, issue number 1. I loved this book. Yes, the artwork in it was great. The story in it compelling. It starts at the beginning before Wolverine even got his adamantium claws. And apparently the first Predator shows up and gets into a fight with Wolverine. And Wolverine thinks he leaves him for dead. I'm not going to say how. And it turns out, no, he wasn't dead. And then we fast forward to the future where Wolverine is now part of Weapon X. And it turns out that the Predator has brought in some reinforcements by the end of this issue. To be continued. Yes, love it. I'm going to be continuing this in physical form. Miniseries, why not? This is the variant. I love this variant. They have a opposite where it's the Predator and you see Wolverine in the Predator's claws. This was the one I wanted. This was amazing. I was skeptical a bit because of the Predator. Very happy to say I was pleasantly surprised. Loved it. Cannot wait for the next issue of that. We now move into DC Comics to finish off this review. Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number 19, concluded the epic meeting and start to the World's Finest team of Batman and Superman. I love this issue. It ends, of course, with Batman saying, I don't trust anybody, but let's see where this goes. And Superman saying, I enjoyed it too. Let's continue forward because Superman, Batman, they work for some reason. And I loved it. I can't wait for the next issue because now we're going to get the Kingdom Come crossover. That's going to be interesting. But again, this is more of an origin. Definitely loved it. 2 parts, really great. World's Finest, the whole series so far, I highly recommend it. Definitely something to check out. Got back into Nightwing. Nightwing issue number 106 because why? Pirates. I was like, I gotta. And there's a nice backup story. The artwork in this book is great. The writing still is amazing. And I enjoyed this issue. Again, this I read right after reading Captain America. But the ending of the issue where we find out who's leading a pirate crew. And there's a bunch of stuff that's surrounding a pirate crew also. Really good. I'm definitely down for this series. Cannot wait to read the next issue. Hopefully I'll retain a bit more because I'll be back on track and it won't be 2 weeks ago that I read it. But I do know I enjoyed it. Definitely going to be sticking around with Nightwing. Wonder Woman issue number 1. As great of a story it was, as great as the artwork was, once again, if you're a Wonder Woman fan, you're going to love this issue. I've tried Wonder Woman multiple times. Unfortunately, she's not a character that I really... she's not a character I read. For me, I'm not going to be continuing the series, but for anyone who's a Wonder Woman fan, you're going to get a lot out of this book. You're going to love seeing Diana back. But it's not something I'm going to be continuing. But it was a great issue number 1. Miniseries starting up. Green Lantern War Journals issue number 1. John Stewart, like I said, takes up right where the side story in Green Lantern leaves off. A Green Lantern shows up on Earth, fights John Stewart, says that he's under arrest and wants to bring him back to Oa. We find out that person is a fake lantern and is a part of some type of a group
John sends him packing and says, if you want to see a real Green Lantern, come back. Or else this Earth and this place is off limits because his mother's right inside the house. And he's afraid that something's going to happen to his mother. So John still has his powers and John still can kick ass. I'm looking forward to seeing who's sending people to fight John. And then we get a really nice backup story as well. Excellent first issue. I recommend the glow in the dark cover. I have it pre-ordered. That's going to be coming through DCBS. That's why I don't have a physical issue yet. Yes, I will be continuing this miniseries. I enjoyed it a lot. Now, we're ending this review with 2 Superman books. Superboy, Man of Tomorrow, issue number 6, the grand finale. I loved this book so much because it ends with Superboy becoming the Man of Tomorrow. He fights the leader of the Cosmeteers, wins, goes home. Superman apologizes for, not being around as much as he should have. We get to see a really nice Superman family moment towards the end of the book. And then Connor basically finds his place among the stars. So while he is home and he is on Earth most of the time, his calling is to the stars and to space. So the Cosmeteers end up getting arrested, whoever is left. They end up being arrested by the Green Lanterns. They're going to serve their time. They now see that their leader was corrupt. They apologize. They're going to spend their time probably in a science cell for a while. They're all clones, so obviously they're going to live forever, possibly anyway. So will we see them in the future? Maybe if we get more Superboy. I want to see more Superboy. If anything, this miniseries definitely proves they can do an ongoing series, and I'm hoping we get a Superboy ongoing. If John can get a bunch of miniseries, Connor should get some too. But anyway, love this book, love this mini. If you're a fan of Connor, if you're a fan of Superman, this is the book I recommend you be reading. And now we're concluding with Superman issue number 6. It's been 2 months. What happened to Lex? He was stabbed. He's in a coma. And now Superman is continuing research about that project that's hidden, that Lex has hidden away. But Superman has access to all of Lex's files, finds out that he created one science cell, and it's deep beneath Stryker's, and it's housing someone. And of course, Superman, being curious, wants to know who's being housed in there. We get there, he frees him, and it turns out it's somebody that Lex gave superpowers to, and it's equal to Superman. He's actually able to fight Superman and put him down. And now he's free. Superman's screwed. Lex Luthor wakes up from his coma and goes, "What did you do?" And this is where the book is left off. We know who the person is because we saw the flashbacks of Lex working with someone. Who did Superman release? And now, what ramifications is that going to have on Metropolis, Superman, and Lex Luthor? Because the moment this person learned Superman was working with Lex Luthor, didn't exactly want to talk to Superman anymore. Really excited to see where this goes. And now that Lex is out of his coma, I'm wondering where that's going to go. Excellent book. Cannot wait to read the next one. Superman is my number 1 favorite book out of the entire, well, there's only 2, the 2 ongoing series right now with Superman. However, Action is going to be starting a new story arc now too. We'll have to wait and see where that goes. But anyway, with that, that's it for this review. As always, everybody, social media links in the description below. If you'd like to check any of that out, I also stream video games over on twitch.tv/chaoticfalcon86. If you'd like to watch me game, hopefully we'll get the review out. It's still going to be late because this is going up when that review should be going up, but hopefully we'll get the review up before Wednesday's books hit, the next episode. So this way, when the books come out, I'll be able to read it, and that episode will be out on time. I do hope I could get the next review recorded soon-ish, so at least we can get the templates back so you guys can see the covers to all the books I'm reviewing. However, if we can't, in order to get it up before Wednesday, I might not do it then either. So this way, when the Wednesday books come out for the following episode, I could continue forward again. I do have somebody that is open to editing my videos again, which I really appreciate. You guys know Smoke. He edited a few of my videos in the past, willing to edit in the future. So we'll see where that goes. But anyway, till next time, everybody, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting. And I will see all of you really soon in the next video. Take care, everybody.